Pop culture remembers King Baldwin IV, hidden behind a gleaming silver mask, a romanticized Hollywood invention. Historical records show he never actually wore one. The true story is far more desperate. In the 12th century, the Kingdom of Jerusalem was a fragile, isolated frontier state, relying on a tiny population base and a scattered network of fortifications. Across its borders, the Sultan Saladin was rapidly consolidating power from Egypt into Syria, turning disjointed territories into a single war machine. Surviving this environment demanded a king who could lead cavalry charges, project physical dominance over his lords, and father an heir to secure the crown. When Baldwin was 9 years old, his tutor, William of Tyre, noticed that while playing with other children, the prince didn't cry when pinched. He had lost all sensation in his right arm. It was the first symptom of lepromatous leprosy. By his coronation at age 13, the prognosis was grim. His own nobility and his enemies alike assumed his reign would be a short, paralyzed preamble to civil war. Yet a boy with a death sentence managed to wield the tools of kingship well enough to hold this volatile kingdom together for over a decade. In his early teens, leprosy attacked Baldwin's peripheral nerves. It killed the sensation in his right arm and hand, though his muscles still functioned. He mastered a specific adaptation, steering a heavy warhorse using only his knees, leaving his one good hand free to carry a weapon or the royal banner. This skill was put to the test in 1177. Saladin marched a massive army out of Egypt toward Jerusalem. Baldwin mustered just a few hundred knights and rushed to intercept him at Montgisard. Against overwhelming odds, the 16-year-old king took the front lines. He prostrated himself before a relic of the true cross and then led a surprise charge straight into the overconfident Ayyubid lines. The charge completely shattered the invading forces. Saladin narrowly escaped on a racing camel, leaving his decimated army behind. The success at Montgisard silenced internal doubts about his fitness for command. By leading the charge himself, Baldwin established a personal authority over the barons that would last for the rest of his life. As Baldwin entered his late teens, the disease accelerated. His extremities weakened and ulcers began to spread, making it nearly impossible for him to ride or fight. Recognizing his failing body, he shifted strategies. In 1180, he negotiated a pragmatic 2-year truce with Saladin to secure harvests and stabilize the kingdom's finances. While lords bickered over land, Baldwin delegated church patronage to his mother and finances to his uncle, keeping state machinery within a tight loyalist circle. To manage the succession crisis, he arranged for his sister Sibylla to marry Guy of Lusignan. Baldwin was learning to govern through diplomacy, strategic marriages, and appointments, tools of soft power that didn't require him to sit in a saddle. By 1183, the disease was devastating. Baldwin was entirely blind, unable to walk, and suffering from constant fevers. His succession plan was also failing. Guy of Lusignan, now serving as regent, proved to be an incompetent leader who openly ignored royal orders. Baldwin responded with ruthless constitutional leverage. Despite his blindness, he stripped Guy of the regency and began legal proceedings to seize his lands. To permanently block Guy from claiming the crown, Baldwin had his 5-year-old nephew crowned as co-king here at the Church of the Holy Sepulchre. He forced the nobility to swear new oaths of homage to the child. Capitalizing on the internal friction, Saladin laid siege to Carrick Castle, trapping members of the royal family inside. Baldwin demanded to be carried to the front lines in a litter slung between 2 horses. He was too ill to fight, but his presence was a requirement for the relief army. Saladin withdrew without a fight. Baldwin had used his physical presence as a legal anchor. If the king was on the field in person, every baron was bound by feudal oath to follow him, regardless of their internal disputes. Baldwin IV died in the spring of 1185 at the age of 24. Within weeks, his carefully constructed political architecture began to crack. Within 2 years of his passing, the bitter factionalism he had suppressed exploded into open infighting. Taking advantage of the chaos, Saladin annihilated the Crusader army at Hattin and captured Jerusalem, ending Christian control of the city for good. The speed of this collapse reveals the impact of Baldwin's decade on the throne. For 10 years, he lost no territory, holding the borders firm through the sheer force of his will. Baldwin's legacy rests on a decade of administrative persistence. He preserved the kingdom's unity by relentlessly manipulating the machinery of the state, holding the crown through statecraft long after his body had failed.